Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Lynn Bryan, and I'm a teacher here at River School, 7th and 8th grade.
And Mary Lynn, you worked with the group that I just taped,
Yes.
the Poppy People.
Yes, I did.
Can you share a little bit what your experience was like leading them through the experience of the World Affairs Challenge?
Yes. So that group had a lot of trouble getting it together because we had a lot of chefs in the kitchen, and they were kind of getting together and having a really good time, but they weren't producing a lot. So it was pretty hardcore with them, and they ended up really coming around. And the thing that group did really, really well that I was impressed by is they all were able to take their individual talents, the singing, the personalities, the impersonations, etc., and really work that into their skit. So it's in all my years with Global Challenge, it was one of the best presentations in terms of really having the content piece, but also having the creative piece, and both of those going together, because I've seen that be an issue for some. It's super creative, but not a lot of content, or a lot of content, not creative. So I thought they did a really good job of using the talents that they had and the content, because they knew a lot about their topic, and putting that together. And then once they got going on that, it was easy. It was hard for them to come up with their topic, though, because they had a lot of people who had a lot of topic ideas. So.
And what kind of changes did you see take place in the learning and sort of just general growth of your students?
Generally speaking, especially for the 7th graders who had never done the project before, just a second. Did you pick up your feet when you Thank you so much. Thank you, Ryan. Really what we see, especially in the 7th graders, is that they've never done anything like this before. Some of our 8th graders have done Global Challenge before, much more experience. So just getting up and performing in front of people, our school does a lot of that anyway, but I think just taking it to that audience level was really huge. And researching a topic that's real, bringing that to the public, that is a big piece. And like I said, the 7th graders at our school have never really done that type of research project before, so it's a big deal. And I think they learn a ton. They've grown a lot about it, but one of the things the students say is their most memorable experience at River School is doing Global Challenge. We call it Global Challenge, World Affairs Challenge. That's their most memorable piece of being at this school. And we have a lot of kids who repeat, who do it again. So.
And did you go on the day?
Yes, I went on the day, and I have to tell you, one of my biggest highlights of the day, besides of course seeing our students, was seeing students that used to be my students here that are now in high school. And one group in particular that didn't even have it as a part of their curriculum at school and just did it on their own, no teacher. They did it after school as a club. They got one of the best presentations in the high schools from New Tech High, and I went and watched their performance, and I have to say that was the highlight of my day, is seeing these kids who are now juniors that love Global Challenge so much. They've done it every single year, and they brought it to their school. It's now part of the curriculum at New Tech High. So that was huge. And the other piece for me is going to Global Challenge that day, World Affairs Challenge, and seeing so many students from Napa, because we started it here, and I got tucked into it by a parent, and I'm like, oh, we can't do one more thing. And now it's huge. It's just this huge piece of what Napa is doing in their schools. So I love that about it.
Cool. And what would you tell other schools or teachers about your experience, and would you recommend it to them?
Absolutely. There is just no reason not to do it. It's so enriching, and if people say it doesn't have to do with standards, they're crazy. You can work in so many of the standards, because people get scared of that. Content, we have to do with standards, and I think our students learn so much from this experience in terms of research skills and writing and problem solving and going out into the real world with real audiences and looking at topics that are really real. You know, they spend a lot of their time in school looking at things that happened in the past that doesn't have anything to do with them. And everything we've ever done in the World Affairs Challenge is related to them. And that's the biggest thing, I think, as a social studies teacher, and I teach English as well, but relating things to them. And that's really hard in social studies to say, oh, the Civil War, and they're like, what does this have to do with me? You know, so that's one thing. And you think it's going to be more work, and yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's one of those things that's really worth it.
Cool. Thanks so much, Mary Lynn.
You are welcome. I'll get you Keith.
Okay.
One more gas on about World Affairs. Gas on.
You did great.